This is exciting.
What's happening?
What's happening is we're picking up a Now That's Nonsense episode after what's been, an 8 or 10 month hiatus?
Is that something we used to do a lot of?
It feels like we used to. And then where'd we go?
Where did we go? That's a good question.
Yeah.
Because I think whenever we're in a certain mood, we'll do a show.
And we were in that mood quite a lot.
And then we weren't quite a lot.
Yeah.
You know what? It's easiest, simplest just to blame it on the COVID.
Yes. And you also remodeled our basement.
Oh, yeah. There was other stuff too.
So, yeah, I don't know. The focus. I was in school. Like we had to buckle down.
We had to buckle down. We had a lot going on.
Yeah. It wasn't all just fun and games and COVID and pandemic anymore.
Yeah, you don't want us to do a show more like that.
No.
We have stuff to work on in life sometimes that requires a little focus, and there's almost not room for nonsense.
Yeah.
Ideally.
And then there was a rest period. I took a 3-month rest, and it was wonderful.
Well, you still worked full time. Tell people what you mean by that. They may think you're somehow a woman of leisure and you just got to take 3 months off.
No, not like that. I still worked, but I wasn't enrolled. Like I finished all the academic parts of my Ayurvedic program that I'm enrolled in. And so I have a 3-month break. And then coincidentally or not, I don't know, I'm starting my internship on Monday. And so from here on out, I'll be like an Ayurvedic health counselor seeing clients and things. So it's all new.
Pedal to the metal.
Here we go.
Pedal to the metal.
So this is the calm before the chaos. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
What are we drinking?
I'm glad you asked. First of all, let's acknowledge these fantastic coupe glasses. I just think they are so 1920s, like roaring good time to be drinking out of them.
Yeah, and for those of you who are just listening and not watching, imagine what a roaring 20s glass would look like.
It's a coupe glass.
Even I'm holding it and you're saying coupe glass and I'm thinking does not compute.
Yeah,
so.
okay.
You know what? Give a shout out if you actually knew what a coupe glass was. $10 gift. You know what?
Because you get a Taco Bell gift card.
You know what? Because everyone's suffering from the COVID. And nobody ever writes in, ever. Even Kim, who listens to the show, never writes in.
Kim, you could be scoring a Taco Bell gift card.
Here it goes. There's a little bit of mania, a little bit of fun. $50 gift card.
Ooh, upping the ante.
To where you choose on the honor system. If you knew what, say it again.
Coupe glass.
You heard coupe glass and the image even flashed in your head.
Bam. Saw it.
Write me, us. At nowthatsnonsense@gmail.com.
Or hit us up on our Instagram.
Oh, yes. At nowthatsnonsense, I think. If it's not, I'll put it in here. So, yeah, $50 gift card. Easy, cheesy, peasy. Just by reaching out because you knew what a coupe glass was.
Yep, I'm going to just fill your coupe glass with a little zhuzh of some amaro nonino.
Did we say what we started with? What's in the glass?
No, we didn't.
For those who's picturing a coupe glass but can't picture what's in it yet.
I think we said. Did I say it was Prosecco?
I can't. I will watch back later. That's just how good my memory is. All right, it's Prosecco.
So it's Prosecco, and but it's not Prosecco. It's a Cremant, if we're being super particular, which comes from the Bourgogne region of France. So it's like the less expensive version of champagne.
I just want to say this. I've never had a Cremant I didn't like.
So then what do you think of that Cremant?
When I tried it just by itself earlier, when you were making drinks and you said, let's check it out.
Yeah.
I liked it because it had a sweetness, but it had a nice dryness.
There's
too.
a tartness there.
So I really thought it was, if you're going somewhere or you just want, do you know the price range of this stuff?
No.
I'm so curious. I'd say if it's $15 a bottle and below, it's a bargain. Like, I would grab it. For a Prosecco, if you like a little sweet, like a little dry, like, I thought it went down nice. And then you put fresh mushrooms. Not just fresh
mushrooms. Mushrooms. No, I didn't. No, I didn't put fresh mushrooms. Kurt completely misspoke. Oh my God.
Could we do a show on what causes that? Some other show?
Yeah.
Like, I'm looking at strawberries and I said mushrooms.
Yeah.
Am I having a stroke? Let me check. I hit tongue on my left side of my mouth. I don't know what's that. Smile. Is my smile even? No, I'm not having a stroke. Thank God.
I always do that with Santa and Snowman.
You were hysterical. Oh, I love that. Christmas time.
At BJ's?
You weren't. I don't think you were even stressed or anything. It's just like, what do you call that? Wait, it's just like a hiccup?
I was showing you a snowman, I don't know, decorative dish or something.
There were two things. It was like a snowman and a reindeer. And you were saying, like, look at that Santa and that snowman or something, like, where it totally didn't make sense.
And I'm like, do you like the Santa?
Yeah, but there was
Santa,
no
and
Santa.
you're like, what's Santa? And I'm like, it's a snowman.
Yeah, you don't like the mushrooms in the drink?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
So
they're not mushrooms.
The strawberries.
Yes,
not
those
the mushrooms.
Those other mushrooms.
I picked them up from the market up the street from us, and they're fresh from North Carolina.
Like,
so
fresh.
Like, yeah. When I brought them home, you were like, "Wow, those look like legit strawberries."
Like,
and
you picked them.
They are.
Yeah.
So that's all it is the cremant with the strawberries. But I just added some amaro nonino because, for me, straight up, it was a little too tart.
I like tart. So
I like bitter. So, cheers.
Cheers.
To this second round of
Cheers.
This. Oh.
Add bitters to anything. Can I talk a little bit about bitters?
Amaro nonino. You have to own this stuff.
We're holding hands up. I have two hands up in a fashion. Jen had one
up.
Oh my God,
we're so dramatic.
Now Jen's got two.
Raising
Oh my
two.
God, hands up. We're like,
yeah.
First of all, bitters. Can I talk a little bit about bitters?
Go ahead. I
we
would
seem to be
love
both excited.
to hear you talk about
We're
bitters.
both excited.
Yeah, it's a good topic.
I really believe on some level, even if it's poetic or fiction, that how you eat, what you eat is kind of a reflection. So I never liked bitter in life. Oh, no surprise. I'm like an eternal optimist. I like sweet things. Like it's all related, you know? I don't want to look at the bad. I don't want life to be bitter, so I don't like bitter. And you introduced me to bitters. I have to say, I did not like them at first at all. Kind of like the first time I had regular gin before I had Hendrick's gin, which changes gin altogether. I need a second.
I was with you the whole way.
Me too.
I mean, I did not really like bitters either. I was just telling someone this, I think it was today actually, that I made it a point to say, I want to get to know bitters because I'm seeing them a lot. And I feel like I want to educate myself and like learn a little bit more. And so it was like breaking in my palate is what I did. And now I just love them so much. Like right now I'm like all up in the black walnut bitters. Oh my God. It's just so unique. And I really enjoy that. And then tonight I put some cardamom bitters in our bourbon beverage.
Oh, that sounds so exotic.
So it's just super fun. And then to have like a bitter like amaro nonino, which you can pair with Prosecco or sparkling wine or whatever, or like gin or vodka, or you can just drink it straight.
It's like people have a
bourbon it's great with.
It's like people have a litany of things they currently enjoy. And if you take amaro and nino and try pairing it with the things you already like, you create like
you're elevating your experience.
Yeah, it's something
because it's that delicious.
And I have you to thank to introduce me to bitters. And I have to say, the more I got to know, and then dare I say, enjoy a drink with bitters. And now I'm liking more and more bitters. Kind of like I introduced you to hot. You tried out hot.
Then I embraced the hot.
And then you surpassed me. I used to think like I could eat jalapenos, no problem. But you like are on even another level than me.
Yeah, you did introduce me to the hot.
Yeah, and you introduced me to the bitters. And dare I say, I faced more of myself.
Yeah, it is
because you face the bitter sides of life that you may have been avoiding because you're all optimistic and sunshiny. I'm just saying it's possible. Not saying that's me. Probably is. And then that's what happens. So thanks to the drink, ayurvedically, the food heals. The bitters help me to face
there's
the
a
bitter.
time and a place for bitters.
All things for all seasons.
So, and all reasons.
Cheers.
Cheers to bitters.
Cheers to bitters.
Cheers to Todd Devlin, because, we wish you were here. It'd be fun to
Yeah,
have you.
Devlin. I have one person I know and I see on a weekly basis who probably 33% of the time asks me, how's Todd Devlin doing?
Really?
Yes. So Devlin, you have fans in the world out there. So it'll be good to have you on the show again.
Yeah. Hopefully soon.
Now, I kind of have a clue why I'm here. Jen knows why I'm here more than I know why I'm here. So Jen, what's this show about?
This show is about how Kurt has adopted a new eating lifestyle. And so we finally have been able to start to have a conversation, which we're actually going to let unfold here because we thought it would be interesting to, have it out in a public forum. Why not?
Yeah, and I'm not sure what the conversation is yet, except I know the topic of the conversation because I brought it to your attention. Now, all right, as an example, I use cell phones to set the groundwork, to set the example so you understand. Like, Jen would be texting or doing stuff on a cell phone, and I'd be like, oh, what are you up to? Like, oh, what are you texting? Like, not in a creepy, jealous way, and I'm excited too. I want to know what you're doing.
Yeah, I want to get in.
What are you texting? What's going on? Like that kind of thing. And she said to me, sometimes
I can tell you what I said to you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right here.
Oh
Let's
my
go
God,
right to
I'm
the
here.
sauce. Go ahead.
I would say I would feel like sometimes it was more from you should put your phone down and pay attention.
Oh, all right.
Not
Hey.
let me get in on what you're doing. It was I felt like maybe I didn't have the time or the space to just, whatever.
Like we're going to dinner and you're texting instead of talking to me before dinner. This is our night out, Jen. Why are you on your phone?
I would never do that at the table.
No, not at the table. We're on
Let's be clear here.
Oh, no. This is
that is an absolute. We don't put our phones out on the table at all.
No, I'm saying we're driving to the restaurant.
Right. Yeah.
And you're just
to me, that's the wrap up show of wrapping up.
At dinner we'll meet.
Yeah.
At dinner we'll meet. See, this is not, nobody's right or wrong. It's all about airing what you expect from the other person, and then once you air it, you'll be like, oh, you were thinking that, I was thinking this. Oh, we can easily do this.
Yes,
it was like that. So I'm going without talking about it and discussing about it, because I don't, even though phones have been around, still the etiquette around them seems to be new sometimes. They didn't text me back. Really? When'd you text him? 30 minutes ago. What? Isn't it 24 hours? Okay. Everyone, so you should know that with your friends. If you don't know that and it's an issue, now you know to talk about it.
I think, you got your list of people and you're like, oh, that person, they'll be on it. That person, it'll take a couple hours, but I also know that it's because they're super busy. Or this person, no, they're just notoriously 24 to 48 hours. You get to know people's patterns, and once you do, it's a conditioning, and then you're like, oh, okay, that's what I can expect, and then it's fine.
I like whenevs. Within probably a 48-hour period. If I don't hear back from a friend in a 48-hour period, my brain might wander a little, are they okay?
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever had to wait more than 48 hours.
Yeah, you're I was joking when I said 30 minutes. What's your time? Let's air it out.
I think, like I said, it depends on the person.
Yeah.
You kind of get to classify a person's texting habits.
You have a time. Oh, so if somebody set up a pattern of texting you back within a half hour, and then an hour went by, it's they condition you to be or your conditioning is because of what happened to be why didn't they text me back? I haven't heard back from them. Oh, okay. That's very fair. That's normal.
It's Pavlovian.
So I guess that, they're separate things, but you can get in each other's business. Oh, you texting? What's no, they're separate things. if you're going to share what's going on in each other's phone, it'll be a mutual sharing, not like a prodding or like a crossing boundaries, like a looking at your phone, like you're texting and say we're on the. Oh,
like who does that? Like you and I don't do that. Like I don't look on your phone.
You don't
like,
think
what are
you don't
doing?
think I've heard. Let's just put it this way. I've heard stories of people who will look through other people's phones.
Oh yeah, that's weird.
And then like there's a spectrum of other phone behavior. Like if I'm at the island and something jumps up in my face, like literally jumps up in my face, like my phone's next to your phone and I'm charging my phone and looking at something and something beeps up and I happen to see it. Do I like, no, like I'm seeing a naked woman that I shouldn't be seeing? Like, no, there's a spectrum. So I'll look. I think that's a low on the spectrum. And then there's other people who might be like, oh, she's in the shower and she left the phone out here.
And I know their passcode.
Or even if you don't know, I'm going to just hit and look at the notifications.
Yeah.
So not even that's the next level, going into it, a passcode. And then there's different dimensions. There's people on the whole spectrum, I guarantee. What are we talking about? So we know about the analogy is the phones.
Wow.
I brought the Jenn.
Bringing it home, reeling it. Holy Mary.
This is like bringing in a whale.
Yeah. But you know what? Good job. Good job.
Reeling that whale.
You're doing a good job because I was out to sea.
I hope none of you got seasick on that journey. We're bringing you back to land.
Yeah.
Here we go. We're back on land. I feel firm. My feet are in the sand. It's not too hot. It's not burning my feet. The sun feels warm, not too warm. Everything's golden. Little mist from the waves, but I'm not too close to even going to wet my feet. Seagulls.
Sun-kissed tan.
Sun-kissed, la, 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 la. Fudgy wudgy bars.
Yeah.
Fudgy wudgy bars. And you're like, you have like 3 or 4 hours, and you're like, I'm getting a fudgy wudgy bar.
So good.
We're there now.
Okay.
Sometimes I've adopted a new way of eating, as Jenn said.
Remember that
on the Joe
from an hour ago?
On the Joe Rogan podcast, which is my favorite podcast.
Bromance.
He's got my birthday. We have the same birthday.
Oh my God.
He's a year older than me. I like what he's doing.
Okay.
Open-ended conversations. Open.
Yeah. Open forum is very much like a dialogue, informal, hanging out.
There's a lot of interesting people on. And Joe's a physical, takes supplements, cares about his health kind of guy. And when I could look up to him in that way. So when he has someone on that he looks up to, this guy Mark Sisson.
It's like double looking up.
It's double looking up. So he had a guest I was double looking up at.
Oh my God.
And he has 2 meals a day. He writes a book about 2 meals a day and talks about the principles behind 2 meals a day. And I've heard lots of doctors and other people. And this guy's in his 60s. And he's super fit. And he did triathlons or that kind of stuff. I don't know exactly what it was. And he did it all carb-based. Like, you eat a lot of carbs. You burn a lot of carbs. And it sure did wonderfully. But he realizes looking back, he did it at a cost. Like that kind of diet caused more injury to himself, insulin response, more inflammation. And then he became him and a lot of doctors talk about eating a more carnivore way. And I come from being a vegetarian. So it's serious stuff for me to like put him in my brain, like, and adopting, like, because we were vegetarians for years. I want to say like 15 years. Mm-hmm. Me more of a flexitarian, but you could say I was a 90% to 95% vegetarian.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Extreme way. But then it sounds like the way he's talking about eating within the same 6 hour window every day, eating more meats and fats and fruits and vegetables than grains, no sugars, no industrial seed oils, and like olive oil, butter, that kind of stuff. And the combination of Joe Rogan and this guy, the power of the two of them, totally shifted me. And I went from a vegetarian to a carnivore, from a carb survivor. I ate, Jenn can attest to this.
Oh my God, you were the
95% carbs. That was my diet.
It was amazing how you would come home and just make yourself a gigantic pot of pasta or basmati rice.
My top 2 favorite things. Number 3 was white potatoes.
And then you'd make like a tub of potatoes and then just eat that with
Sour
globs of
cream
sour
and
cream.
butter. And like, that was my jam. I loved carbs. I lived on carbs. My body seemed to function well off of carbs, but I would get a headache every week. And I probably had inflammation somewhere. Why even consider this? This culminated with me having lower back pain all of a sudden and having some intestinal issues. And I'm thinking, something's got to change in me. I need some kind of healing. And he was talking about eating within a 6-hour window. You're fasting for 18 hours. And within fasting, your body does the most healing. Because it takes a lot of energy to digest food. And so if it gets a break from that, it can be like, maybe put its feet up for an hour and then get to work on other stuff, like repairing stuff. So I totally bought in. I feel like I needed repair both in my gut and in my back. And I want to put on a little muscle for you. I felt like we've talked about it before. I used to work out a lot. You got the non-working out me. I could see how you had a little gleam in your eye when you realized there was that version of me. And so I want to try and give you that version one more time before I don't want to do anything like that anymore.
Well, that's super sweet.
I still have it. And I feel like this diet speaks to that too. Like, I'm going to start eating meat again because it's nutrient dense. And sometimes I'm going to fast because that's healing, the most healing thing you can do. And if it's done in a reasonable way, read this guy's book, Mark Sisson, 2 meals a day. I'm not the expert or a doctor or anything, but just know that I bought in. And I worked out the other day. How did I look? I've been working out for 3 weeks. How did I look? Did I look okay? Like my body was taking to it?
Yeah, for sure.
It feels like my body's like, finally, you're giving me the right nutrition. And you're exercising, I'll finally give you something. Because I feel like I've worked out for a lot longer and saw like little to nothing. You'd laugh like, there's your little gun. Like I'd be working out for 3 months and she'd be like,
really? You've never worked out for 3 months straight. Oh,
is that a fish story? Is that a fish story?
Stop the tape there.
Is that the alcohol talking so long?
Yeah,
So worked out then?
3 weeks sounds probably accurate. Yeah, I mean, Kurt's version of working out is doing like 20 push-ups a night. And
now who's fibbing? You're diminishing.
Oh, wait, but
what do I do for working out? You
hit the bike for 2 minutes.
Why are you leaving off my main workout?
For 2 minutes.
Why are you leaving off my main workout?
Oh, and then you do
and then
the total gym twice a week for 5 minutes?
Woman? Why are you cutting me to shreds? You pick the least thing first. He does. You know that commercial where they do one? That's Kurt. He does 1 push-up and he thinks he worked out. That's not a workout, am I right?
That's exactly
So you threw me under the bus. Why'd you throw me under the bus?
You were asking about your consistency, and so that's why I'm just presenting the other side here.
Okay, devil's advocate. You know, all you got to say.
No, this is devil's reality over here is like what I'm seeing.
Ooh, little cut. Devil's reality.
Bob and weave, honey. Bob and weave.
I'm moving. You see me chucking and shoving and moving around.
Yeah, so
what are we talking about? It's a good defense mechanism, by the way. I'm so good at that I really don't remember what we were talking about. That's how good I am at defending.
Yes, blocking it out. He's traumatized.
Bring it back. Bring it, reel it in.
So Kurt has taken on this new approach to living. And as evidenced by this conversation, we don't know how consistent this is going to be, but
thus far,
but we see that he's on this new path now. And so for Kurt, he's just all in. So you're basically, you're just doing you. Like, I'm doing what feels right. Like, and you're excited about it. And like, you're super into it. And that's super great for you because you're having the experience that you want to have. And then there's me, who is living with this and observing it. And it is not the sunshine and lollipops and little bunny rabbits hopping around the yard.
I see.
Experience. It's more like, who is this guy and what the fuck is going on? Like, you're eating meat on the daily. Like, you're talking about this stuff and like it does not compute. Like, I can't. It's overload, and I'm like shutting down, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on. Is this for real? Like, is this long term? Like, what's happening? Like, pause. So here's the pause.
Is it right? Like, this is the pause.
Yeah.
Right here. This is
We've
live.
arrived.
We've arrived. So, like the cell phone example, I brought to your attention, like, I feel like my eating is, the way I eat may be an issue. And can we make it not like the cell phone thing? Like, can we make it like, whatever I'm doing separate. If we come in the middle on something and talking about like, oh, how's she doing? Oh, good. She's doing good. Like, because you're offering information from your world of text. Like, yeah, I want my world of food to be separate, except when we come to talk about it. Like, I feel like, is that right? Would you agree that is a thing? Am I imagining something?
No, I think that would be good. I think that would be a good thing to have.
How would you describe it?
Well,
I put my words to it, what I feel like is happening. How would you put your words to what you feel? The connection between us, what food is. It's a connection.
It feels like foreign, I guess. So I would say that it's, what would be nice is if like it wasn't a thing, and like I guess what I'm trying to do is like understand your perspective.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing. So the fact that we're having a conversation about it will better help me understand it more quickly than if I was just trying to figure it out on my own.
If I can understand what you're saying, it's just like, this is new, and I'm seeing how I land in what's new. And until then, I haven't landed in what's new. And so if I say stuff about it, whatever, I'm still figuring it out.
Exactly.
I'm just being real with what's going. That's so fair, because especially with our personalities are perfect for this scenario, because you're slow and steady, and I'm hyper focused on 100% on this.
Swing it out to the extreme.
And then I see this and I'm like 100% focused, and it could be related to the other thing, or it could be 180 degrees away, like vegetarian, carnivore. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you got to adjust to like, and it's not just my diet changes, the way I talk about things changes.
Yeah.
Something my personality, like, so you're like, I was used to Kurt 2020. I was used to Kurt 2020. Kurt 2021 model. I got to get used to this model.
Yes,
yeah.
Agreed.
All right, that's fair. We know where we stand. All right, good. So it's a process. I understand where you're at. How you respond to me is just what's going on for you. It's not like, oh, it's personal, like, or anything like that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so true. I'm glad we added that.
Yeah, here it is, folks. You got it.
We were talking about stuff too. There's a spectrum of the way to talk about things, communicate with people in your life. And I at the very least, it's like, you bury it, you don't talk about it, but I'm talking about stuff. One, you talk about something, you bring it to the light, you bring it to attention to bring it out. Two, you could talk about it almost from a point of perspective where you're looking at it as if you're not you. It's almost like you're talking about two different people, or you're talking if you saw a movie. So you're talking about exactly what you're doing and the other person's doing, but you're talking about it almost in the third person. You're not attached to it. So anything you say isn't affecting the other person, you know? You could talk about something like, that really hurt me when you... Or you could be like, hey, you remember that time? Yeah, I was messed up then. You're like, I'm not in it. I'm talking about it.
Right.
And the third way to me, which is I think the best way, is the way of comedy. If you could talk about something where you're still being very real, you're still being 100% honest, but you can even throw a little comedy on it, that's better for everyone.
I think it depends on the situation.
Everything.
I mean, if it's not like a heavy situation, then you throw some comedy in because, hey, let's lighten this bitch on up.
I can't even, the things that you would joke about with that, I feel like you can't even say anymore.
I don't even know what they are. I don't want to go there.
We can't go there. It doesn't even matter. We can't. Ooh. We'll be canceled even though nobody listens to it except Kim. Kim will cancel us. Kim, don't cancel us. We didn't say anything.
We've obviously drank quite enough. And it's probably about time to like bring it on home for everyone.
We'll bring it home. Do you have a title for this episode?
Oh, wow. That's
Talk about.
I just you said that and the song Funky Town came into my head.
Pop music, talk about. Pop music. Is that the same song?
What?
Let me take you to... That's
Funky Town.
That's so crazy. We're both in the disco era, but I was talking about talk about. Pop music, talk about. Is that the disco era?
I think I know that one.
Shoo-be-doo-be-doo-wop. Bop, bop, boo-wop. Talk about. Pop music, talk about. Pop music, shoo-be-doo-be-doo-wop. Bop-a-da-be-doo-wop.
I'm not sure. Not sure if I'm picking up on that.
Well, it's
like
funny.
Vaguely familiar.
I wonder how close they are in year. I feel like that's disco. If it's not, I'm wrong. But it's weird. That's disco in me. That's doing me mind. That's disco. That's disco in me mind.
Okay. You were going somewhere with this.
Yeah. It's amazing that I said a version of what I thought was a disco song. And you said, oh, that reminds me of, and you said a disco song. That's interesting.
Funky Town.
Yeah.
It's a vibe. We're on it.
Is the name of this episode Funky Town? No, nothing's related to that. Can we call the episode Funky Town and then you don't realize to the end why it's called Funky Town?
That could be a thing.
We're having such brain farts that we can't even pull the end of the show together. And so we're just calling it Funky Town, even though it's unrelated because we talked about Funky Town.
Kurt's eating habits in Funky Town.
That's a long title.
Yeah.
Isn't there something about marketing about shorter titles?
Depends.
I don't think we've landed on it. We'll cut out, we'll edit, but we're going to create a creative space, a creative safe space where we can come up with the title and we'll edit out the air. But is that okay with you? Would you like to go enter a creative safe space with me until we come up with
Yes, let's do that.
Until the title. Can I do a quick aside, even though I know this whole show is a tangent? Please. If you say no, I won't do it. I'll save it for the next show.
I'm curious.
I haven't busted out all this equipment in a while. I was even a little concerned if I'd remember how to set it up. Honest.
I saw that. Wasn't a secret. You actually set something up wrong a little bit.
Yeah, okay. Very good. Very good. And I lost my train of thought. I felt judged, and then I felt like the space wasn't safe anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And I went inside. Please.
Aunt Barbara. That's who you sound like.
Aunt Barbara. Cheers to Aunt Barbara let's cheers to Aunt Barbara with our strawberries. We have nothing left, Aunt Barbara, but you know who you are, which is you.
I did have a sip left in me. Good for you. You ate your berries. The schnozberries taste like schnozberries.
So I was busting out this equipment. Thank you, Brain. And
so good.
I keep them in a box I made. And the
Your
box. Yes, I keep this stuff in my brain. Future me does. I store all material objects as energy in my brain. to rematerialize them at will.
Bloop.
Then you say, the schnozberries taste like schnozberries, and you'd be right. I materialized them well.
Oh, my goodness.
When I was going into my box and I was getting out the mics and the equipment, I was like, this is like the magic box. And I'm like, why don't I create a magic box? I have a magic drawer. Your old jewelry box. You said, let's throw it out. And I was like,
I said it like that? Really? Like a really, I don't know, gruff man? Who's that? I don't think I did that. I don't think I sounded like that.
Let's another episode. Well, next episid, growling. We talk about why when I do Jen sometimes I use that voice.
My goodness.
To be continued. And My apologies.
Yeah.
My faults as a husband are my faults as a husband.
I mean, let's see. That's like some inner deep shit coming through.
Well, I'll unpeel it a little bit as a preview.
Oh,
and we
good.
can
I'm
we
so
dive
glad
deep
I get
next
to
time.
live with this now.
I won't call it a hoarding problem, but hoarding's on a spectrum, and I'm probably on the very lower spectrum of hoarding.
Okay.
Is that fair? I'm on
mid lower. You're not super low.
Let's go between lower and mid lower.
Okay.
Compromise?
If it will progress this conversation forward, then yes.
Excellent. Excellent choice, madame. So.
You're a hoarder.
So I'm a hoarder. And I don't know the rest of the conversation. Clue me in.
You were talking about how you hoard things because it related to me.
You don't know either. This is great. Literally, cheers to nothing for me. Cheers to strawberries for you. I have nothing in my glass. I guess that's the show. I'll re-listen to this, and whatever we were in the middle of but didn't continue, stay tuned. We'll pick up on it next episode. Does that sound fair?
Yeah. I hope we haven't alarmed anybody in the making of this.
But then, you know what? To keep it as real as possible, Jen and I generally have one drink. We're one drink people.
We are.
Weekends, one drink. Even if it's a good stiff drink, it's still only one. Mm-hmm. We had one drink, and we were excited about doing the show.
And it was a stiff one drinker.
Yeah, it was a good one. And Jen's like, and we haven't had a show in a while. We wanted a little bubbles. And so I think that...
No, you were the one who suggested a drink. I did not say we haven't had a show in a while and we haven't had bubbles. Like, you're taking your first thought and my thought, and then you're pairing them together like it was a time thing. But that's not the case. You wanted the bubbles. Well, no, you just wanted a drink.
In my defense, Your Honor.
And I just wanted bubbles, so...
In my defense, Your Honor, did we come to the place where we both wanted it?
You know, you brought it back up, and I wasn't going to say no.
Okay, well, I'll concede that.
Okay.
I'll take it. It's close enough to me.
Yeah.
I'll take that. Again, my apologies. Because of this, things are slipping my memory a little bit. And we will come back to everything. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Blah, Blah, Blah. This episode entitled Blah, Blah, Blah. We're going to leave creative...
How about it's can't remember shit?
Yeah. We are once again going to leave creative space and cut out the creative space to give the title of the show, and then we will wrap it up this way.
Bloop.
I really hope you enjoyed that we are back. We are glad to be back, and we are wanting to entertain you. So if you have any comments or suggestions, if you want to guide us in a creative fashion, would you say we're open to that?
Yeah. I mean, yes.
User input. Is that what that's called in the with the building? Where people,
what do you do?
In the building where people work, where people go, where people used to go in the building. Yeah, user research. Is that good user research?
Feedback.
Yeah, give us feedback.
Awesome. Kurt has spoken so much, so I'm going to wrap this up and say it's been super fun, and we hope that you enjoyed the comeback episode of Now That's Nonsense.
Till next time, whenever that is.
Namaste.